Good morning and welcome to Crafters TV. It's wake up call, but our Hottie Scotty's on holiday, so they've asked me to pop in and cover for him today. So I know you've seen one or two faces this week. It's my turn on Friday. So yes, wishing our Craig well. I know he's having great fun up there in Scotland, and the weather, as far as I've seen, is beautiful for him. So yes, we'll have him back next week. But for today, it's myself, and I have got a friend with me, so I will talk about that in a little second. But first of all, just to tell you a little bit about what's coming up today, because I'm here all day today. I'm also here for most of the day tomorrow, but we'll talk about that later. So yeah, we've actually got 3 p.m. here in the UK. We've got a masterclass with our stencils and mixed media products. So you know how much I love my stencils. I've been prepping away at home. I've got lots of different tricks. Keep trying to think of something new for you with the stencils so that you can get plenty of use out of them. So 3 p.m. here in the UK for that one, 10 a.m. over in Eastern time and 7 a.m. over Pacific time. So that's masterclass. And then later on in our day, actually into the evening for us in the UK at 7 p.m, we have got Colour Me Happy. It's Friday, Colour Me Happy show, and it's focusing on our Spectrum Noir tri-blend pens. So lots of information for you on that one. So that's 7 p.m. here in the UK, 2 p.m. over in Eastern time and 11 a.m. Pacific time for you. So yes, we'll do those as we go throughout the day. So as I said, I'm not here on my own. I do have someone with me, and we've got the fantastic Ionica here today. So I know one or two of you have seen her previously, but yeah, we've got her in the house all day today. So good morning, Ionica. How are you doing over there?
Good morning. Yes, I am very well, thank you. You okay?
I'm good. Yeah.
We haven't worked together before yet, have we?
I know, it's a new one for us, isn't it, today? So yeah, we're going to sort of work our way through it together. So that's what it's all about, that little bit of team. So tell us a bit about yourself, Ionica. I'd like to learn a little bit about you this morning. I know our customers would.
So for those that watched the show the other week, they will know that I'm an actor and singer, and I present as well, and this is a whole new world to me, and I'm really excited because I love making gifts for people, and I love making bespoke gifts, and watching all of the shows, everything is so different. Even if you get one set, I mean, you could have 30 people in a room make the same thing and it may look completely different, and so I can't wait to find out like tips and tricks for that. So yeah, and yeah, I was in London last night, came up this morning, I went to a very posh award ceremony last night, so it's been an exciting night, and then I'm back here.
Fantastic, honestly. So we're going to start and preview a few of the products that we've got, haven't we? So I think what we got coming up first over there, we got some. Oh, we've actually, I have big news. Yes, for the first time ever on Wake Up Call, we have got a brand new launch this morning. We don't normally do the launches on Wake Up Call, but today, slightly different. So I feel very privileged that this is the first one. I'm very excited about it too. So what we got coming up first then, Ionica?
We have got the matte and layering dies there. As you can see, they are the 5x7 there, and they are only $12.99, $14.95. And if you are a premium member, they are $10.39. Also, we've got the smaller one over here. We've got the 6x6 one, and this is the square shape. So, Jan, what do you think of the difference between these two dies?
This is something I think that's been long awaited, Ionica. Our customers will be familiar with our nesting dies, and we do them in lots of different shapes and ranges for sort of matting and layering. But these are specifically, and I think any new crafters out there, these will be a dead set for you. I get asked quite often about matting and layering. How do you keep the lines straight? People are not all fair with a guillotine. They don't always get everything cut straight. I'm going to show you in the demos in a second or two, but these are perfect, and they're in half-inch increments. So as far as matting and layering is concerned, they literally go down in that graded size. Perfect. And I'm going to show you that with the demo. So the 5x7 is a traditional card size, and then we've got the square one in a 6x6, which again, traditional card sizes. And then they go down in half inches all the way down to the little tiny wee ones, which are great for accents or sentiments and things like that. So as I say, any new crafters out there, and I know we've got new people joining us every single beautiful day. So if it is your first time today, come say hello. We don't bite.
I'm new
We'd
too,
love
don't
to
worry.
see you.
Ask all the questions away. I'm going to be putting my hand up because I am rookie at this.
Yeah. So yeah, I think new crafters, these will be a perfect setup for them. Yep.
Okay,
Right.
coming up, we've also got the tri-blends, which you can see right in front of me here. We've got the floral blends, and they are getting a free stamp with them. I mean, free stamp. They're only $19.99, they're $29.95. Or again, if you're a premium member, it's $15.99 or $23.96. And you are getting the stamp for free. I mean, who doesn't love a freebie? Jan, tell us what's special about these.
Again, the tri-blends are sort of aimed at probably the beginner crafter again. So we're looking after our new crafters really. Nothing to stop advanced crafters. You know, the people that have watched me for a while know that the tri-blends are my go-to alcohol markers. But the fact that you've got the 3 shades in one pen, absolutely perfect. And I'll show you a little bit more about what I mean with that when we come to demo later on. But yeah, you've got 3 shades of one colour family, all in one pen. It takes the hard work out of working out what blends with what and which shades go with which. So yeah, absolutely perfect there.
Brilliant. And also we have got the stencils, and I know that you are a fan of stencils, aren't you?
Honestly, whenever there's stencils on a show, I think it's usually me that stood here over this side, yeah. It's like 101 ways to use a stencil. I'm going to write a book, I think.
I think we should.
But yeah, we've got some great stuff coming up. We've got some stencils that you may or may not have. So if you've already got them, I'm going to show you some techniques that you can use with them. And if you haven't got them already, we've got some great deals on for you so that you can add them to your collection today as well.
I'm going to tell you quickly about the craft countdown. So if you see a clock on the screen, that is when you are going to get an offer, and it is not to be missed. Keep those eyeballs peeled because we all love a good offer, don't we? They can appear anytime, anywhere. So keep your eyes peeled because once they're gone, that's it. And you're going to get a bargain. We have got the Craft Factor as well. Have you heard about this? It's Are You the Next Crafting Factor Star? Audition on the Craft Factor, a chance to appear on CTV Live. So all you need to do is you need to submit a short video about yourself, 4 to 5 photos of a card that you've made, and tune into the Crafters TV to watch the live auditions. You can email us and you can email the videos to the studio@crafterscompanion.co.uk, and you need to get the viewers to get this to subscribe to your channel as well, so make sure that you're watching and clicking in so you're not missing out. So we're going to be doing a demo now, aren't we? The first one.
We're going to come back
excited.
to those new, that launch on those new matting and layering dies. We thought we'd start there, show you how they work. They're actually larger. The largest ones are larger than our traditional nesting dies, so they will extend your collection if you're a fan of nesting dies. But I said specifically for matting and layering, and I'm going to show you a couple of ways that you can use those this morning. One set with the rectangles and one set with the squares. So before I do that, I thought I've just got 1 or 2 samples for you, but absolutely brilliantly for you know, things like, I mean, just keeping it simple and literally cutting out all those mats and layers and then adding a little bit of decoupage to the top, focusing on that sentiment in the middle there. But you can see you've got perfect increments in those mats and layers. You've not got to worry about whether you've gone wonky with the guillotine or if you've not cut it out straight, however you've done it. And as I say, it's one of the questions I get asked most about how can I ensure that all my mats and layers are straight. Well, this is the perfect way for you. So again, you can use them to make your shaker cards. So by making frames with them, popping the shaker tape behind there, you've got that lovely little bit of glitz in there. And then also, this is something that I'm going to show you in my demo, is how to do this multi-layer stamping. So it's basically all stamped out so that you've got a continuation of stamping, but then it's all layered up. If I show you the depth of this one, you can just see how it's all layered up in those different mats and layers. So perfect for that. And then as well as those 5x7 ones, we've also got a 6x6, which again is a traditional card size for you. But I just think they're great. And yeah, you know, yeah, essentially they are a nesting die, but like I said, the largest ones are bigger. I think, than anything I've got in nesting dies from Crafters Companion. So it allows you, if you wish, to use that largest one even to make your card blank with, just by overhanging it over the fold line. You can cut your card blank out, and then you know that the next one down is 5.5 inches, then 5, 4.5, and so on. You're going to get that pristine sort of layering effect on it there. So that's that one. Why not separate them? And that's what I'm going to do with my demo for this one. We're going to do a little bit of stamping again, but we're going to use the squares, maybe not matte and layered as such. So, you know, I like to try and show you something a little bit different. And again, love this one. Absolutely gorgeous. Just stamped out and then split into the three, what we call a triptych, the 3 parts. Just with those rectangles again. So yeah, beautiful. Really, really useful, I think, to have in your stash. So I'm going to bring it back to the rectangular one. And we've called them matte and layer dies to sort of distinguish them from the nesting dies. And the largest one in here is a 5 by 7 inch, which, like I say, is a standard card side. And I know you guys over in the States, I think you use that 5 by 7 quite a lot as a traditional card size. I must admit, personally, I tend to make, and I don't know why, but I nearly always tend to make square cards. So yeah, I've actually gone a little bit different, gone a bit rogue with this one. So in your set, on the reverse of here, it tells you the size of the largest die in inches and centimetres, right down to the smallest one. And then in between, you've got those 1/2 inch increments. So this is what we're actually looking at when we take the metalwork out there. So that first one's going to cut you a rectangle 5 by 7 inches. And then you've got another 9 dies after the first one, all the way down to that little one that we said measured just 1/2 inch across by 2.5 inches. So absolutely, you can use all of these if you wish, or you can just use parts of them. So I actually made one literally with the papers, with the matting and layering. And this is what I came up with, just simply matting and layering. So I've taken, I think I started out with, let's just have a little look. Not the largest one, so I've gone for the 6.5 in height here for the first one. So my card measures 7 by 5, and then this one's 6.5 by 4.5, okay? So every other die I've cut in the green cardstock, and then the alternate one, the next one in the kit, I've cut in the purple cardstock there. And I've literally just stuck them together, matted and layered them using those borders to line them up. I've added a sentiment, I've even used one of the rectangles to cut the sentiment, and a little embellishment. So that's fairly straightforward. But what I actually wanted to do then was show you an alternative, using the same concept, but doing that stamping. So what I've got is a piece of Nina cardstock, and I'm just going to check which ones. I think it was, let me just double check the sizes before I get going.
There's a lot of popularity already online for these. Sandra says, oh, these look great, I might need to get them. And wow, Jacqueline, wow, what a game changer. I struggle so much with this, a must have. And Mandy has already said, BRB, be right back. Off to buy these.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I mean, I've been crafting a very, very long time, but I still, when these landed on my desk, I just thought how useful. They take seconds to actually pop through your machine. They will all fit through the junior and the midi upwards. So even the 5 by 7 will fit on your junior platform, on the midi platform, depending on what you're cutting. So what I've done then, I've taken the 4 inch by 6 inch one to start with. Let me just make sure I've got this right, because I've got my piece there that I want to work with, yeah. And then I've taken the next one and I'm putting it to one side. Then I've gone down to the next one. So I've actually missed one out here. If I put them all together, you can see you've got that 1/2 inch increment, which leaves you a 1/4 inch border all the way around. But I'm going to miss this one. And then I've taken the next one, okay? And then I'm going to do the same. I've got the next die there, and then the smaller one still here, but I'm going to take this middle one back out. All right, so I've actually got, let me just count them in there. We've got number 3, 5 and 7 counting from the outside of your layers. So if we class the 5 by 7 as number 1, I've left number 2 in there. This is number 3, then I've missed 4, put 5 in, missed 6, put 7 in, and missed the next one. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then what I'm going to do is cut these out. All right, so just with a little bit of the low tack tape, I want to actually cut these out. So it's just a case of lining them up. And again, if you're not confident about cutting more of them at once, do them individually. But obviously, you know, they will go through your machines as is. So what I'm going to do is just eyeball around the edge to make sure that I've got pretty much an even border all the way around there. So on the large one, the next one, and the next one in. That doesn't look too bad there. And then I'm going to stick those into place so that they don't move. And then I actually want to cut out all 3 of those panels, and we're going to do that all in one go. I'm just going to grab my plates there, and these will go, I'm going to put them on the junior plates just to show you the size of them there. So that fits on there nicely. Normal thin metal dies, so our normal sandwich of plates there. They will fit in any of your machines. If you don't have a Gemini, they will work in all your other machines. They're just a normal thin metal die like you would buy from any of the companies. Don't worry about the cracking if you've got a Gemini. You tend to find that happens with things that have got open areas. So because this is just an outline, it's just the pressure on the metal, that's all it is. And basically, I find it quite encouraging because it tells you you've actually done the job. I know that it's actually cut this through. And you can see there on the back, we've got that perfect set of rectangles. So I actually want to take these then and work with these separately. So I've got a little bit of spare card there. And then just remove that tape gently.
Just while you're removing the tape there,
yep.
Robbie on Facebook has asked, what's the difference in matte and layering dies and nesting dies?
Very little. Very little. The only reason we've called these matting and layering dies is because we've done them specifically for creating those mats and layers on your cards, yeah? They are essentially like a large nesting die, but the largest one in this set and the largest one in the square set are bigger than any of our nesting dies that are currently on our website. So it's taking it sort of that little bit further. So yeah, they could be called nesting dies, but we called them matting and layering because they've been developed to help you achieve all this sort of even layering when you're actually popping them together. Right, so what I want to do now, I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap paper just to rest on. So this is just out of my photocopier, and I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of our dotty tape pen to secure these in place, because you can rub the dots off. So I just want a tiny little bit, top and bottom corner there, to actually stick it onto the piece of paper. And then I'm going to do the same with the next one, just a tiny little bit of adhesive so that I can actually secure these, and then we're going to stamp on them. So I want to pop them back in situ, and again, it won't stick them down. I'll be able to take them off, and as I say, if you need to get rid of the dots, they just rub off the back there. So let's move all the metalwork out of the way for a second, and then I'm going to bring in my stamping platform here. And we're going to have a go. Now then, I'm just thinking, have I actually brought the stamp? That would be a good idea, wouldn't it?
We've got some birthdays online today.
I'll use a different one.
Just want to wish a happy birthday to Elle Wilson on YouTube. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Donna on Facebook. Hiya, Jan and Ionica. Lovely to have you presenting today, Ionica. Donna, it's lovely to have you watching. Thank you for being so lovely. Maura says, so can these dies create quarter borders? I thought she said half earlier.
They're a 1/2 inch increment. So when you actually put them down as a mat and layer, you've got a 1/4 of an inch showing each side, because the 2/4 make the 1/2 inch.
They do.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so the first one, if we start with the 7x5, the next one is 4.5 inches across, but because you've got a 1/4 of an inch at each side to make up your 1/2 inch, that's why I said a 1/4 inch border. So the increment's 1/2 inch, but when you layer them up, you've got 1/4 of an inch either side showing. Does that
I
make
feel like I've
sense?
just done a maths class.
Yep. Now then, I've actually prepped one of these to use and I've not put the stamp in, so I'm just going to grab one of the ones that we've got on the Colour Me Happy show later. So anything really will work for this technique. Floral stamps look lovely. You can use sort of shapes, butterflies, anything like that. But I'm just going to show you the technique, and then I've got one, as I say, that we've already prepared. So what I'm going to do is I've positioned the stamp, and I'm going to stamp across all 3 areas of that particular set of layers that we've created. So I'm just using a black ink for now, and literally pop that stamp across all the layers, which is why I wanted to secure them in place. And we've got that border going all the way across there.
Ooh,
okay,
that's
and then
pretty.
I'm going to move the stamp, so I'm just going to give it a quick scrub with my cloth, just to get rid of some of the surface ink, and then move it to a different place. So we'll pop this one up here now. Okay, and fill in as much of that area as you wish. Not all of it. I like to try and see some white space in it. And then we're just going to do the same again and pop that one on there. Just give that a little extra press in the middle there.
And because this is a magnetic pad, you can just push it back on and
Absolutely,
you don't have to worry
yeah.
about
This
it
is one of
moving,
my
don't you?
favourite bits of equipment, this Ionica. I'm always talking about it. It does have a magnetic base, it keeps everything in place, and it means that if you do miss a little bit of stamping, you can go back in, quite like as you've just said, and literally over stamp with the ink. So it's perfect. I use this all the time now, even if I've just got a little tiny sentiment that I'm working with, I still use it just in case you miss a little bit of it when you're stamping, and you can go back in, ink up. Often you'll find that the ink's still on the stamp if you've missed a bit, and literally just transfer that back again. You've got the confidence of knowing that it's going to stamp in exactly the same place. My top tip for it is, if you're going to overstamp, is to stamp standing up so that you're literally directly over the top of it here, because if you sat down and you push, sometimes it's got a little tiny bit of give in the platform, in the top piece here, and if you sat down you can just see how that's moving that little bit. If you sat, sometimes you can push it forwards, and then you're going to get a slight misalignment with the stamping. So yeah, stand over it and make sure that you go straight down with the platform. So let's just pop that to one side, and I'll show you what I mean with this now. So you can either stamp in a colour, you could stamp and emboss this, it will work with embossing, or you could stamp and colour in, which is what I've done. So I'm going to take this one off, and I just want to cut the other set. I've just mixed all these up again now. I wanted the other set of rectangles, so let me just double check which ones we used. We've used that one. We've used that one.
Nicola on Facebook says, morning Jan and Ionica and everyone. I love our matte and layering dies. I definitely need me these. Nicole, sorry, yes. Yes, you do need these. I could listen to Jan all day. Love how she explains everything. You do. I feel like I'm learning lots with you, Jan, today.
I come from a teaching background, Ionica, so it does come in handy, I must admit.
Best be on my best behaviour then.
Jo calls me the headmistress.
Oh no.
I'm not that bad, honestly. Yeah, so what I want now then is, I've got, these were the 3 that I die cut the stamping area out of. Excuse me, and then I've taken, you remember we said we took the alternative ones out of the gaps. These are the 3 that were the alternative ones. So what I want to do is just cut some background card, and I'm going to do the same again. Just make sure that these are all lined up with that even border. If you prefer to cut them all at once, you can. If you prefer to cut them individually, but I just think this saves on card as well, because when I started doing this, I thought, if I'd have been doing this technique previously, I would have taken a piece of A4 card and I would have cut this one out. Then I would have used the next bit of card and cut the next one out, and then I would use the next bit. Whereas here, I'm literally, they're all inside that piece. We talk about gutting our card, or being frugal with the card. This is brilliant because you can do that, and you can take those middles out because nobody's going to see. When I put this together, you'll see what I mean. So again, I'm just eyeballing that to make sure that the borders are as even as they can be, and then stick them down. I think I've just moved that one, but we'll go with that.
Gemma says, Jan, I learnt the best ever matting and layering tip from you. So there you go. I don't know the tip, but she says
it's the best matting and layering tip. Yeah. You'll have to let us know what that is. What would that be for matting and layering?
Yeah.
Let me think.
Oh.
I don't know. I try and give you as many tips as I can when I'm here. So yeah, you'll have to let us know. As I say, don't worry about that crackling if you're using your Gemini. It is just the open spaces in the dies. It's because you've got a straight edge just going through with the pressure. That's all it is. It's not doing anything wrong. It's quite satisfying in some respects because you know you've got that lovely crisp cut. So what we've got here then, and this is where I can show you now what I mean by that layering. So we're going to pop that off there. I can get rid of the dies, and I've now got my opposite set to what we used. So if I release these off my cards, my bit of scrap now, literally those dots will just peel away. And if you want to, you can literally just rub them off the back so that they don't stick to everything you don't want to. Where I'd put the little dotty tape pen, this literally will rub off. That's why I only put a bit on. Okay, and then when we line these up now, so let me just take that off there, that's going to go on that one and then this one. So we'll make sure that we've got the stamping lined up, but what it means is that you can actually start, and this one is going to layer over the top. So it covers some of the stamping, but when you put this one back on, you will get a continuation of this stamp into the next one. And then again, I'm going to put this one on, okay, and just make sure that we've got that one the right way there. So your stamp is actually continuing right the way through here with just the plain layers underneath it, okay?
It makes it almost 3D straight away, doesn't it? It
does, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to swap these out for the ones that I did at home. It was a different stamp that I used. I actually went and had a rummage through my all my stamps, and I came up with this one, which is actually from the birthday stamp range. It's the April one with the daisy on, and I've done exactly the same as what I did with the stamping. And then I've just taken a couple of my tri-blend pens and added some colour to it before we start matting and layering. But you can see then with the colour in it, how it does make that little bit different. So again, we're going to go here, and then I'm going to add the green back in, and then we're going to go with the next one in here. And
Chemistry Biology says so much faster this way than the other masking way. Always great tips from Jan. Need to remember to stand.
So you can see how you get that illusion that the stamp's coming all the way through the layers. Now the one that I showed you at the top of the show was done in exactly the same way. It just had no plain layer. So when you have a look at this one,
oh wow,
you can see that this is the same technique, but instead of including a plain layer, we've used all of the dies instead of alternating them and stamped all the way through it. So you've got two different looks there with the same technique.
Oh, I like those.
So all I'm going to do then is literally, I've got my 5x7 card, and I'm going to swap to my double-sided tape pen. And these are just the perfect size for the tape pen here to run just some glue all the way around there and just mat them and layer them. And again, it doesn't matter that there's no middle inside here. Nobody's going to know when you put all these together that you've actually got a frame. So again, just get rid of, I've still got some little bits of glue for where I rub the dots off. So perfect, perfect size. Look, you don't have to worry about whether it's going to line up. Oh, it's getting sticky.
Oh.
Let's do one side first.
I'm holding my breath.
Oh, you know, I'm a perfectionist. It has to be in the right place.
Me too. If it's slightly out, I'm like, oh no.
That will do. We'll work with that one. Yep, so that's the first one down. And then again, I'm going to take the next one, pop some glue down there.
If you do get it wrong.
Pardon?
Like, you know how you just lifted it off then?
Yep.
how quickly do you have to move to be able to get it off, or is it instant once it's down?
If you only press it down very lightly, it won't stick permanently. Once you've pressed it into place, I would resist trying to peel it back off, because there's a likelihood that you're going to damage your card underneath there. But just popping it in place lightly, sort of hovering over the top, get it sort of in place where you want it. And as I say, until you've applied some pressure to it, you're fairly safe in being able to lift of them. Okay, and then again, just give that a good press. The heat from applying that pressure to it just allows that glue to work perfectly. Right, so
I guess as well, when they get smaller as well, they're actually easier to get right.
Yes, that first one's the hardest one to get in position, and once you've got that in the right place, you can see the others are going in there much easier. It's just getting that border. If you get the first one straight, then it's just a case of lining the next set up and making sure we've got them in the right way round. So I've got my stems here at the bottom. If you've got a stamp that is directional, then make sure, as I say, that you've got it the right way round. So I'm just going to pop that one on top here. Okay, and again, just leave that same. You'll get used to what the border width looks like, and then that allows you to place these nice and quickly. So again, that central one, you know, you might want to leave it with just the border and have a sentiment inside here. Again, there's so many different ways. I could have done you a whole show just on these alone, honestly. So again, centre one, you know, you might want to stop there and have your sentiment on that piece, but we're actually going to put the last bit of the stamped effect.
These are really pretty.
And again, here we go. So that's that last one. So you can just see there, and then again, I've stamped out a little sentiment to go on there, just on some foam pads to add a bit of dimension. And then I'm hopefully going to be able to show you a demo with the squares as well. So we'll just finish this one off, then I think we'll take a little break, and then I'm going to show you how to use the squares, which are pretty much the same idea, but a different layout for you. And then I've just popped one of those little butterflies as an embellishment there. And if I actually move all this rubbish out of the way now, you can see there we've got that lovely design. So the first one, if I turn these round, the first one was using a patterned paper. So this is actually from the garden party paper pad that we've had on the shows recently, and cutting it out of pattern paper. But our director, Adam's just said, he says, it's a way of saving your paper. If you don't want to cut into it, you can actually create your own designs with those stamps and get sort of a similar but different look with it. So that's your rectangles for matting and layering there. Okay.
Do you know, I really like that the sentiment literally just finishes it off. It's like the bow on the birthday present at the very end. Right, I'm just going to read you a few messages that you've been sending in. Thank you so much for joining us on Facebook and YouTube. We love talking to you throughout the show and love seeing what you're doing. Leslie Forward on YouTube said, I spotted them this morning on CCTV scheduled and checked them out straight away. Don't want to miss out. No, you do not. Carolyn says on Facebook, this would be great for gutting the card. Carol says, and we mentioned this earlier, you don't even need to stamp your own image. You could do this image from a paper pad. You could. Yeah, Carol, these matte layering dies are great. I need them. Yes, you do. Also, we've got some more birthdays. It's everyone's birthday today. We've got Linda Armstead and Panda Crafts on YouTube. I think you should sing this time, Jan.
Oh, you don't want to hear me sing. Oh,
Happy birthday.
Did I hear you correctly earlier say that you were an actor and a singer? So I'll do the crafting and you can do the singing.
Yeah. Okay, so we are going to show you with the Get It, Got It Good. We're going to show you a cheeky little video coming up now. This is the Gemini Mini, perfect for beginners here. We've got the flutterby there. We've got the beautiful bloom. There we go, you can see them just pushing it through there. We've got the Over the Rainbow, and we've got the Garden Friends and Party Time. Oh, look at the little ladybirds with the butterflies. And I love the rainbows. And I am wearing a very rainbowy top today. As you can see, I am wearing a rainbow top just to reflect that. So that ends on Sunday. Jan, we're going to be doing another demo in a minute, aren't we?
We are. We're going to go, and I'm going to try and fit the squares in as well. I wanted to show you them both, although they're the same concept.
Yes.
So again, you've got the set of matte and layering squares with those 1/2 inch increments again. So the largest one's 6 by 6 there. I'm just going to find you some paper to pop that on there. You can see that better there. And then the smallest one goes down to 1 inch square. And I'm just thinking, I know several years ago I used to make artist trading cards, and we used to trade them literally with other crafters, and then the postal fees went up, and it sort of put a bit of a damper on it because it was costing a lot of money to be constantly sending things out to people. But amongst that the trading cards are like the size of a playing card. But I know also out there are people that make what are called inches and twinches. So the inches are just little tiny pieces of art that are 1 inch in size. And if I can get this one off here, you're basically looking at something like that. And that would be perfect for cutting out your background and just adding the tiniest detail on. How brilliant would that be? And then if I skip one, you've also got the 2 inch square one, which would make the twinches. And again, little tiny pieces of art that you can then display. So they're all laughing in my ear, but honestly, it is a thing. You crafters out there will know that. Let me know if ever you've made anything like that.
That is very much, I mean, that's perfect for a Yorkshireman, isn't it? I mean, they love saving money, so that's perfect for them. My dad will love it.
Right, so this time then I've taken some bits of cardstock and I've just written on them which size I needed to use, because obviously I plan all this stuff at home and then come here and think, right, what the heck did I do with this now? So all I've done is made a note on here of what sizes I want. I'm going to cut all the squares out first. So 5.5 is going to be the second one in, and we're going to cut that out of that gorgeous glitter card. And then I'm going to go down to the next one, which is 5. So I'm essentially making a matte and layer there with those two for my card. Okay, and there, see, they've had a search, and they're now telling me in my ear that I'm right. I know, I've made them. Yeah, it's all good fun trying to do things in miniature. It's not as easy as you think because everything has to be shrunk down. It's great for scrap busting if you keep lots of scraps of card. But yeah, have a look out there. If you've not done it before, it's a great technique.
Have you ever seen the people that make the miniature doll houses or the miniature pencils?
Where a friend of mine does that. I don't know whether she still does it. She used
incredible.
To. Right, so I've got 5.5, 5. So that's going to be 4.5, 4, and then I want 3, which is that one. Whoa, I was a bit frugal there with that one, wasn't I? Is that right? Let me just check that's the... Oh, it's the 3.5, that's why. I want the 3 inch on that one. I want the 2.5 inch on that one, and I want my 2. Right, so loads of squares basically for this one. So we should be able to cut, if I get my large Gemini plates, we should be able to get a lot of these on at once. So again, if you're cutting them, I would recommend sticking them down. I mean, I've literally cut my pieces of card down so that I could fit them on the Gemini plate. We might not get them all through in one pass. But obviously, you know, you only need it to slip a little bit and you've got a piece missing out of your mat. So let's pop that right at the top there. And then we're going to go with, I'll put the smaller ones on, and then we might have to do another pass through for the other side. But basically, I'm going to create the mats and layers for the design of my card this time. So that one wanted that one on.
These, I love the different of texture. They really complement each other.
Oops.
Don't they?
Yeah, I've just chosen different cardstocks. I like to work with different textures. The last one, it was all pretty much a similar texture, but this one we've got glitter card. We've got some card that's got some embossing on. And I think the paper is actually from a pad in my stash. I just wanted that lovely cool blue tone. You'll see why when I bring the main image in. So that's the first ones, and you've got that confidence of knowing now that these are going to layer up perfectly. So we're going to take these off. Again, I've gone 6 by 6 with my card blank. We've got the perfect now matte and layer there. And if another top tip for you, I get a lot of people messaging me saying, I'm trying to cut glitter card and it doesn't cut. And it's almost like, you know, when you buy things that are set in a like the pop-out kits, it's a case of breaking the contact, because this looks as if it hasn't actually cut, but if you just snap it, it'll come out perfectly. Yeah, it's almost as if it hangs on to the coated layer with the glitter, but literally just as if you're tearing like a dotted line, it comes out straight away. And that's going to be the perfect size now for the card. And then we'll do that one next, and then I've got some other layers that we're going to use for the design itself. So I'm going to pop all those to one side, keep these separate for a second. I've made a heck of a mess, and I've literally only been here just over half an hour. I've got bits everywhere, look. I'm just like, piles of rubbish, piles of metal.
It's creative. It's creative mind.
Right, and then I'm just going to pass these ones through again. So I want to get this nice bit of, it's almost like embossed and glittered on here off the paper pad. And as I say, I think it is one out of my stash. So again, I know you've all got tons. We were talking about what we had the most of the other day, and the number of people that commented paper pads, including me. It was just phenomenal. I started it off by saying I've got a ridiculous amount of paper pads, and there were a lot of people just commented, and I loved it because there was a lot of you said, I've just got a ridiculous amount of Crafters Companion stuff in general, which really made me chuckle. And then there were a lot of people agreed with me about the paper pads, and then there were some more unusual ones. Somebody said they got a ridiculous amount of makeup. Someone else had got a ridiculous amount of, what was it, the other one? I can't remember the other one. But yeah, we're all the same. We're all in the same boat. So I'm just going to take all those off there now, pop that to one side, and I've got all my little squares ready for when we come to put this together. Just pop that one. My tape's hanging on for grim life. Let go.
Val says on Facebook, she says both these sets of matting dies would be useful. I can remember years ago, before die cutting, we made these with the template and a craft knife, same effect, but hours of work.
Yep.
Do you have to do it manually?
Honestly, yeah, craft knife. The other thing is as well, I mean, I wish I could have done a whole show for you, but you can do what you call partial die cutting. So just a quick, just to explain what I mean, my producer would be like, oh, she's off on a tangent again, look. If I just get these smaller plates, if you, for example, wanted to cut something out but only part of it, you can leave your die. So imagine you've got the cardstock in here. I'll just use this bit again. I'm not actually going to cut it. Yeah? So for example, I only wanted to cut into it part way. If you leave the die overhanging and put all your plates together and pass it through the machine, it's only going to cut the area that's between the plates. So you're not going to get this side, so you're going to then get that piece that will open and close. So I'll try and remember that if I get to demo these again, because there's a really good technique I can show you with those. So let's pop this one together then. I'm going to do some simple matting and layering here. So that layer at the back, and again you could use one of the smaller dies to actually cut the centre out. I could have cut this one out of the middle of here. It was just easier to get them all lined up with separate dies. But just look how easy that is. Perfect border all the way around. You've not got to worry about whether you've cut it right, whether it's straight. Absolutely perfect. Same again, we've gone for the next layer down. And then for my focal image, I've actually taken a stamp from one of the sets I've got on Colour Me Happy later tonight. So if you can join us at 7 p.m, we've got Colour Me Happy focusing on tri-blends. And I've got those gorgeous snowmen stamp on there as well later on. So I've actually used this stamp set to create myself a little topper. So again, you don't have to use the whole image, because obviously this one, you see the whole of the snowmen. But I've just put them into my little 2.5-inch square there, and we've just got a section of it. And then again, bring some colour into it, and just look how cute they are. So that's going to be my focal point on here. And hopefully, if I've done this right, we should have a nice matten layer for it as well. So let's get that one stuck down. And I'm just going to flick to some wet glue there to make sure that this stays put on the glitter card. I know I use the tape pen on the background, but I'm going to stick a lot of things on top of that. But because this is the very final layer, the wet glue will actually soak into the glitter and make sure it stays in place there.
It just gives it a bit more traction on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, so he's going to be the main feature, and then the extra ones I've just cut out to have like a little bit of extra interest here and there.
Yeah.
You know, you can lay these out, and I was thinking scrapbook pages, oh my goodness. You could even try, I reckon if you used a rectangle and a square together, I reckon you could even get away with trying to make a Polaroid frame to put your photos in. That's something else I've got on my to-do list. Yeah, so I've got all these ideas written down at home that if I get a chance to demo them again, I will try and bring you some different ideas. But yeah, the Polaroids tend to have a slightly wider piece at the bottom.
Oh yeah, they do, yeah.
So again, I'm just going to put that one on the background. We're going to have him there. I think we'll just take the little one inside there, however you want to put it together. But I was just thinking, you know, from the point of view of scrapbooking and framing your photos, these would be perfect as well. I haven't found a reason not to buy them yet, I must say. And then I've just cut a couple of little snowflakes as decoration, and I was going to pop these, just tuck them behind. So again, little bit of wet glue on there, and I'm just rushing to get this finished off now. If you were at home making this, you could take much more care, spend more time on what you're doing. So I'm just going to hold that one in place. I'm going to hide one behind there. And then just to balance it, we'll do the same at this side. And then we just need a sentiment, and I think we're there. I don't know whether I'm in my time limit or not.
You're good, don't worry.
Yeah. So we'll pop that one, and again I'm going to lift this so that it comes from behind there.
I love these little snowflakes. Little embellishment there.
Yeah, I mean, we've all got stuff like this in our stash. I mean, these are not on the show, but these are from an old collection, and I know you guys have got these out there. So again, I'm going to keep him flat, and because he's going on to several different layers there and different textures, I'm going to stick with the wet glue. And the wet glue that I've got in here is our tacky glue. So again, just the tacky works better if you leave it for a few seconds to literally go tacky. That's where it gets its name from. And then once you're ready, you can pop this in place. And then the last bit I've done, and this is from the same stamp set as the snowman, I've got Sending Lots of Love at Christmas Time. And again, just because it's going on to that glitter and the embossed area on those papers, I'm going to add a little bit of wet glue to my foam pads just to ensure that we get a good stick on there.
Aww.
And then just to finish it off, because we can, I've got a couple of little gems. Again, I know you've all got tons of this sort of thing in your stash. If you're anything like me, we just collect like magpies. You just collect things.
Shiny things.
Yeah,
Shiny
there
things.
we go. So that's just showing you the squares. So if I bring the rectangles back in, you can see that that's very different look, just
Totally
with using
different.
basically the same product and changing the shape there. So if I turn him round for our Adam, we can have a little closer look there. And that's your snowmen for Christmas.
Lovely. I love those little snowmen faces. Right, I am now going to show you the mystery bag. I'm excited. It's anything that looks like a gift just makes my heart full of joy. So these bags, if you do get two, you will get duplicates in it. I'm not going to show you everything in it, otherwise it wouldn't be a mystery, would it? It would not. So I'm just going to show you a few things of what's in here. We've got the wonderful friend here, the stamp. There we go. Can we see that there? What? Oh, I'm sorry, I was moving it too much for the camera. I'm going to show you some more. Oh, this looks cute. We've got a cat there. There we've got the stamps. How lovely is he with his little tie? It says you're simply perfect in every way. See what you did there. See what you did there. I'll just show you one more. I'm not going to show you too many because otherwise it's not much of a mystery, is it? Oh, this is lovely. This is another stamp, and this one is with love. And there we go. Can we see that? There we go. So you are saving, how much are we saving on this one again? We are saving £47.59. That is incredible. So if you want to get one of those. So also we've got a little video to show you, and we will be back soon after this.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Quiet. The neighbours.
I'm all out of Zoom. I'm so lost without you. I'm not singing.
Lisa, if you email in, don't send a picture of your air fryer. Make sure it's something creative.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us, you give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
Joy, there's not a dry eye in the studio here. Debbie's welling up, I'm welling up.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV. Create every day.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the Crafters Companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every pound, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
So I hope you enjoyed that little video. Just shows you what we get up to, a little bit of fun there. Thank you so much for getting in touch online, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. It's always really lovely to hear from you. And there seems to be so many birthdays in the world today. We've had lots of love online. Jan, you are a very popular lady. Mary says, I love your ideas, Jan. You've always got such great ideas and explain things so well. She does. So, and that's what's going to be happening next. Jan's going to show me something else because I'm learning every time she does something. What have we got, Jan?
This is the bit I love doing, I must admit. Right, we're going to sort of zoom ahead a little bit.
Okay.
And we're going to do a preview for our 3 p.m. show here in the UK,
Ooh.
which is all on the stencils again, and sort of stroke mixed media. We've got some of those lovely cosmic shimmer products coming up again later. Now, not a lot of you guys bought those when we first launched them. We have got some new colours and things on the website if you want to take a look. And I'm going to try and show you some tips and tricks again with those later. So if you can join us at 3 o'clock, we've got a full show on the stencils, different ways to use them. But what I wanted to do this morning was just pick one of the sets, and this is our sort of everyday set. And there's a really good mixture in here of what we've actually got going on. So to start off with then, you've got that gorgeous foliage set there. Oh, I went the right way, Adam, look. I went the right way for the first time ever. I've only been doing this job for 3 years. And we're in the right position, look. So yeah, nice large stencil going on. This is the pattern you're going to get. We've just done them with inks to show you the designs here. So you've got that foliage. I think, is this one Botanical Gardens, if I remember rightly? Botanical Garden, I think. And then we've got the little love hearts. So again, these... Oh, I spoke too soon, Adam, then. I went the wrong
Jan.
way. Spoke too soon. So again, we've got hearts on that one. And these were launched originally with our shaped word dies. So the ones that said friend, happy, hello, that kind of thing. But again, why not use them individually? I'm going to show you how to use them to make a background in a second. We've also got the Rick Rack one, which is a stunning design. I just think this is really abstract, useful for all sorts of things. And looking at it there, I'm seeing waves on the ocean. I don't know about anybody else. Just artistic license, you know. So that's the Rick Rack one. We've got spots, different size little spots and dots there. Again, just done with the ink, just to give you an idea at the bottom of what they look like when they're inked through. And again, you know, just because it's this big, you might want to just work on an area that's half that size. It doesn't have to be the same size as the stencil. And then the last one is the one I'm going to use in my demo there with the stars on. So really useful set. And again, we were talking earlier, our Adam mentioned about saving on your design papers and things like that. This is a great way of actually making backgrounds, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that stars and spots one. And they are actually 8 3/4 inches in total size, so lengthwise 8 3/4 inches by 5 inches, so you've got a good area there to work with. Having said that, I'm not going to use that full size. I've literally taken a piece that measures, I think it's 5 1/4 inches square, which is what I want for my actual card that I'm going to use, and I'm just literally going to use this on here to cover it and make a background. Now it's a wee bit wider, so you've got choices. If you don't mind the 2 little lines down the edge, then you can go with that. But these are actually repetitive stencils, so if you line it up so far, you can then overlay it and carry on. So just for speed this morning, I'm going to go with it in the centre there. I think on a previous demo I did show you how to line up the stencils, because we've done a lot of different shows with the stencils. So I would recommend sticking it down. So again, choices there with sticking it. So I'm just going to pop some low tack tape on the back once I've got my stencil in place. If you prefer, you can use, let me just see if I've got some underneath. I'll just pop downstairs a minute.
It's just going downstairs.
Here we go.
Into the
look,
cupboard
I'm
of
going
life.
downstairs. There we are. So stick and spray is a repositionable spray. And if you coat the back of your stencil with this, you can proper get it to stick down, and it will peel away. It doesn't leave a residue on your cards, and it will just stay on your stencil. You can reuse it repeatedly. It doesn't need an application every time you use the stencil. You will find after a while, if you've used it several times, it might start to be less sticky. Then just apply another coat to it. So that's there if you prefer to have it stuck down. And then I've gone quite neutral with this, because I was thinking of the guys again, because I know a lot of people say to me they find it harder to make cards for guys, because obviously, you know, not all guys want the flowers and the butterflies and things like that. But so that's why I picked the stars, and I've gone with a nice sort of quite muted colour palette really. And I've actually, these are our pigment inks. They could just as easily be the water reactive inks or the quick dry inks. They will all work with your stencils. We'll talk about that a bit more during the show this afternoon. But I picked, you know, that these are my go-to ones. I love the pigment inks, and I use them for all sorts of things. And we're actually going to emboss as well today. I brought my embossing powder and my non-existent heat tool. Wait while you see this one, Ionica. They all laugh at it. They think
I've heard about this.
They think I'm not using it, honestly, because it's so quiet, but I do actually turn it on. So I'm just going to get the clear embossing powder ready there and hope the fan doesn't blow it all away. And then I've actually mixed these up, because normally the lightest shade in the brown is sandstone, but I didn't want that shade. I've gone for pumice for the light one, and then the Friar brown and the seal brown from the 2 brown sections. So we're going to start off with the pumice first, the lightest one first. Put my applicator back on there, and then I want to sort of come like an ombre effect down the stencil. So I'm just going to load up the applicator with that palest ink first, and then I'm about a third of the way down, so literally a little bit of pressure, and then applying that ink, just pushing it through the stencil with that sponge applicator. So I've kept it nice and simple as far as using an ink's concerned. If you can join us later, we're going to add some of those mixed media products into the mix with the glitter polishers and the paints and things like that. But just for now, and I've picked the pigment inks because I want to add that embossing powder over the top of it. So again, I'm just going to change to the other sponge applicator. I'll try and keep one of these for the different colours there. Okay, so again, I'm just going to overlap slightly from one colour to the next and fill that one in. Now, it has gone over onto the edge, so I'm not too worried about that. And then I'll leave that same one on to go And these do stay wet for longer than your normal inks, which is why I picked the pigment inks here, and we'll be able to add the embossing powder. So this is the darker one now, and I'm going to take that down to the bottom and just overlap slightly into the Fryer brown as well.
For someone that's never used one of these stamping pads before, are they quite forgiving that you can start like and go in, or is it if you put too much pressure on straight away, that's it, you've done too much?
Not at all. Not at all, no. You'd be surprised how little pressure you need actually, because this is sponge, it depresses. And you'd be surprised how little pressure you actually need to get that to go through the stencils. They're not particularly thick, the stencils. So yeah, it does actually go on quite easily. And then I'm going to take that off straight away. Try not to touch the ink. And then literally we're going to pop this into my clear embossing powder. And this will now stick to the ink. All right, so it doesn't look much just yet, but what it will do is give it a nice glossy finish on those stars, but we'll get the colour come through. So I prefer to stamp in a colour and then add the clear embossing powder to it. So just that last little bit at the bottom there. Pop that to one side, and then I've just got my heat tool at the ready, which I am going to turn on. Can you hear it, Ionica?
Is it on? No.
They all laugh at it.
That's not real.
So I'm going to start up here in this corner, and literally I'm just applying enough heat to melt that embossing powder. And there's not a lot because they're only little stars. It's not going to take a lot to actually melt them. He's in there, look. He's watching carefully.
Do you know what? The boys were playing a game the other day. They were making noises of whether it's the real machine making the noise or a person making the noise. So they were making like a guillotine noise or something like that, and they were talking about your heat tool, and then they literally went, "Oh yeah, we're going to do Jan's non-existent heat tool," and went.
It creates a lot of laughter, does my heat tool, yeah. Johnny, producer Johnny's convinced that it's not actually turned on. I've had to hold it up here to my microphone before now. Then I have to be careful not to melt the microphone. So I
don't think that's going to be very happy.
Just long enough to melt it, and I can see here in the studio, I'll show you in a second, but I can see that it has gone shiny and glossy. Is he on it there? So when we actually, I've missed a bit. I have missed a bit, you're right, just there, look. Can you see any more that I've missed?
It just all of a sudden turns, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's really incredible
Can you see any more, Adam? Are we good? But look, when I tilt that now, you can just see how it's got that lovely glossy finish on there. It just adds that extra little bit. There's, you know, if you want to stop at just the inking part, absolutely fine. You know, you don't have to do the embossing. But I just think it adds that little bit extra to it. So because these are water-based inks, I've got my water spritzer there. I like to have a little clean up, otherwise I end up with it all over my, my card blanks and things. So this is going to be the base, and I'm going to matte and layer this onto here. As I say, ideally with a bit more time, I probably would have moved the stencil so that it avoided these lines on the edge there, but we'll actually go, yeah, we'll pop that on there for now. So again, I'm just going to matte and layer, and this is going to be the base piece for my card. And then if you were watching when I was here on Wednesday, we launched those beautiful sentiments. And I've used one of those for the actual card blank, and I've put most of that together. If you want to see demos for that, you just need to check out our launch day from Friday. But what I've actually used was the Best Wishes one, which looks like this, and they pop up from the actual card. And as I say, I've done this element of it here. You can see there, we've got the best wishes, and I've done the same here with this piece as I've just done on the base. So I've got that ombre effect going on, and then I've just cut a little bit of glitter card to overlay on the top there, and then you can see the brown from the matte and layer through here on the wishes. And then this one's actually going to twist to sit up like so. So I've actually made the base part to fit in here. So I'm going to go with the ombre coming from light to dark down there again. And as I say, if I had more time, I would have moved that stencil along to avoid getting those inked edges, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to do here. So we're going to pop that on there. So my card is 5 3/4 inch square, and then I've just scored from top right to bottom left diagonally all the way down the middle here with my scoreboard, and then that allows this to twist, and you can see how that best wishes has popped up there. And then again, because it's an easel card, we just need a stopper. So I've just used some stars out of my stash there to make a little embellishment. I'm going to pop that one, and again, because I'm onto that embossed area, a little bit of wet glue just helps these stay in place. So once you've decided where you want that to come to, we're going to pop that one in place. And then I've got a couple of little gold ones to pick out, that gold lettering as well, and they were cut out of the scraps of glitter card that were left over. So we'll go with one of those up there, and one of those on. Oh, choices, we'll go up in that corner with it. But again, just showing you how you can use those stencils to create your backgrounds. Instead, if you don't want, if you haven't got the right paper choice for what you're looking for, they will create, just a nice generic background for you that you can use on any of your designs. That's just one way of incorporating them into your card style. So best wishes there. I don't know who I'm going to send that one to, but I was thinking the guys with all the brown in there, but who knows?
Ah, cute. That's lovely.
Okay.
Okay, next we have got the embossing folders here for you. The first one that we have got is Climbing Ivy. So that's $13.98 or $19.90, and if you're a premium member, it's £11.18 or $15.92. I love this. This is almost like a dragon green, this one. I like this one. Okay, next we have got the Grand Butterfly embossing. I mean, how gorgeous is that purple? I mean, just see a little bit of the light on it there. Just so pretty. And you are getting all of these in this. And now we have got this Ravish leopard print. I love the names of all of these. I think whoever names these, I want to meet them because they're so creative even in their names. And again, just really lovely colours. Just slightly turn it so you can see the texture of it there. And then the last one that we have got is the Vintage Scroll. So as you can see, lovely green and gold there. Reminds me of an old-fashioned wallpaper. Look at that, it's gorgeous. So yeah, and you can get all of those together. Right, Jan, we have got another demo, haven't we?
We're going to have a look at those tri-blends next. So I'm going to sort of talk a little bit about the pens themselves.
Okie doke.
And then I've got another demo lined up for you as well. So for those of you that haven't seen the tri-blend pens, I'm just going to bring the big case in here. And this one's designed specifically to house your tri-blends. Just opens on the Velcro, and you can see there in the top we've got a selection of ours going on in there. So if I tip them up now, you can see them there. Now the idea behind this particular wallet is that it all Velcros apart at each side here, and it means that you've got a workable set here that you can pop on your desk. Pop that one, somebody's not popped that one away. We'll slide that one in there. Okay.
Jan, how many pens does this hold?
I believe it's I want to say 72, is that right?
Gosh, that is a
2,
lot.
4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 48, I'm telling you fibs, so 48. Yeah, 48, yep. You can see how they lift up. You've got two sides, 12 on each side there. And it's a great way to store these. So it's an option for you. Now, as far as the tri-blends go, if I just take one of these, I'll grab one that's not actually in the slot. If you haven't seen them before, these are an alcohol marker. Okay, and they are used for sort of colouring and blending. So the beauty about a tri-blend, as it suggests in the name, is that you've got 3 separate shades of one colour in one pen, and I just think that's brilliant. Previously we had 3 separate pens, so if you're used to our Classics range or the Illustrators, things like that, you'll have one pen that has the lighter shade in, you'll have a separate pen that has the mid shade and a separate pen that has the darker shade in, and you need to collect those to do your blending. With this system you just need that one pen and you've got the lighter shade. So if I just grab some spare paper there, you can see we've got the lighter shade, and then in the same pen in the middle I've got the mid shade, so there's just a slight difference in them. And then all I'm going to do now is flick it right round the other way, and on the other end we've got the darkest. Now it's only very, very gradual there, and the idea with those is that they will all 3 blend into each other. So again, if you can join us later on today at 7 o'clock here in the UK, I'm going to go into this in a lot more detail on our Colour Me Happy show. I'm going to do a demo with you now, but I'm literally just going to use them for colouring purposes. But the idea is that you've got all these to hand. I have to have them fastened right as well. It shows you the numbering system if you're familiar with that. This, for example, the code is BP for the bright pink range, and we've got 1, 2 and 3. So you know that those are going to literally work together to blend, and this is that beautiful blend that you get. You can see the gradation of colour in those as it goes down the 3 blends. Really, really easy to work with. Now I've got mine, I've not got the big bag because I've got mine in one of the Totally Tiffany bags, and this is how because it's a little bit easier to fit in my bag, but this is how I work with my one. So there's a smaller selection in here. All right, but I've got a couple of these that I have at home and just have these on my shelf ready. The only piece of advice I'd give you with them is to store them laid flat. All right, so whether it's laid on its side or on its back, laid flat, purely because if you store them in a pot, for example, and put a handful of them in a pot, your alcohol's going to work its way down to whichever end is in the pot. So your light shade, the alcohol's going to be down here. So when you come to colour with it, you might find it's a little bit scratchy. You might have to wait for some of that alcohol to actually feed its way back down the middle of the pen, the barrel. So again, keep them flat. And that would be my sort of tip for that one. So I'll leave those out because we are going to use some of those colours, I think, in the demo.
They do save so much space, don't they?
Honestly, and it's great for, you know, because I'm always on the road with mine. It's a great way of transporting them. I don't have to keep taking them in and out of a container every time I come up here to see you guys. Literally just grab those and bring it with me. So whichever system works for you. We do the Black Spectrum Noir cases we do for pretty much all our pen ranges. So again, we'll go into that in a bit more detail later on if you can join us in later in the day. So what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to take a stamp set, and I particularly chose, now don't tell anybody that I told you this because I don't want to get into bother, but secret. I know for a fact that this, if you like this particular one, it's in the mystery bag. Shh.
Jan, you told them what was in my bag of life.
It's one of. There are lots of goodies in the mystery bag, but this is just one of, but don't tell them I told you. So I'm literally, and it's a good size stamp, look. Ooh. You look at this and it looks quite small here, but when you take it out, it's a really nice size stamp. So let's stamp that out. And what I wanted to show you was the colouring on the watering can, because again, it's meant to look like metal, and we can get some nice shading with the pens there. So all I'm going to do is position my cardstock. It can be a Nina cardstock or a stamping card. You want something that's got a smooth surface for alcohol colouring. I wouldn't recommend watercolour card for alcohol colouring. It will soak up your pens and you will use far more of the ink than you actually need to use. So yeah, a smooth surface. So the Nina's perfect, or the stamping card. And then the other thing that you just need to keep an eye out for is that you're using the correct ink. Now with our finesse system, we've literally taken all the guesswork out of it. Alcohol proof dye ink, it's got an alcohol marker on it. I know this is safe to use in conjunction with my alcohol pens, and the line art's not going to bleed. If you have issues when you're colouring where the line art starts to bleed into your colour, it means that the base ink wasn't the right. There are two different, well, there's several types of ink, but the two main ones are a waterproof ink and a water-based ink. All right, so opposites attract, just to explain the difference. If I'm working with an alcohol colouring medium, I need a water-based ink, which is what this is. If I'm working with a water-based colouring medium, I need an alcohol ink. So it's like opposites attract. But as I say, we've taken all the hard work out there for you. And as I say, I'll go into this in a little bit more detail later on. So again, I'm just going to smooth that over the whole stamp, but also with the tapping encourages that ink to leave your ink pad. So tapping all over the surface there, and I've just got the flagstone one there, which is the one I tend to use more than anything for my line art work. It's not quite as definite as the black one. And then if I'm doing anything that's sort of nature related, the pebble colour, the brown, is a nice one for the line art as well. So just to give that a good press, and remember what I said, you know, if you can manage to stand while you're using that stamping platform, you know you're going to get good sort of pressure on the top of that there. And then just look, we've got that gorgeous image going on there. It's a lovely size to work with. So I'm going to do a little bit of colouring, but obviously not the whole thing because it's going to take a wee bit longer than we've got left. So I'm just going to grab some scrap paper to rest on there, to make like a blotter for me. And I wanted to focus on the actual watering can. So I've taken my iced grey, and this is from the main tri-blend collection, which we've got on the show later on. And then there is a dark blend collection as well. And together I've now got 6 shades of grey now. These are all ice blends. Ice grey blends. The first one's got number 2, 4 and 5 in, and the second one's got 6, 8 and 9 in. So you can see I've gone from very pale here at the top, really down to quite a charcoal grey at the bottom, which allows you to get some depth in there. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to concentrate on some of the watering can there. So first thing I like to do, and we all do this slightly different. I know when I watch Sarah, she likes to go in with the dark one first, but I actually prefer to actually flood my area with the light one first and get the alcohol down. So I'm just going to do a little bit on here, and then I've got one that's literally ready done. So all the way down, and work on a small area. I wouldn't try and do all the watering can in one go, because what you'll find is the alcohol starts to evaporate once it hits the card. And by the time I've coloured all this in, this will be dry. And if it's dry, it's much harder to blend. So I'm going to then flick to the darker end. And these are great because you can see here where the cross hatching on the stamps has actually put in some shading for us. So I'm literally going to go over that shading with my darker part of the pen, and it's going to start and create some shaping and make it look less flat on the page, and then come back to the medium one, which is in the middle. And I'm not going to go over the dark because a lighter shade will bleach out a darker shade. I'm just going to nudge the edge of where that dark is to blend it out. So just sort of kissing the edge of where I've got that darker shade, and it will sort of almost like spread into this medium shade. And then again, I'm going to go back to the light one, and I'm going to do the same again. I'm just going to nudge that medium area, and
if you haven't used these before, do you need to be a really good artist to know where you're going? And
no, not at all. I mean, I always say to people, you know, we all started somewhere, Ionica. You know, I wasn't a colourist when I started doing this. And you can do what I call flat colouring. You don't have to start blending. These are great colouring mediums to use just to colour in, like we used to when we were younger. If you want to just colour in, absolutely fine. We've provided the system for you to work with the blends if you want to work your way up to that. Or anybody that's been colouring a little while and feels they want to move on to that next stage. I'm then going to jump to the number 8 on there, which is quite a bit darker. And again, I'm just going to touch where those little sort of hash markings are on the design and add that darker one in there. Just in certain places to give, and trying to create the illusion that this is actually now a bit more rounded. And then I'm going to come back and just touch that edge of it again. What that does is help the ink spread out, and that's where you get that lovely blend from. And then what I would say to you again, as far as tips are concerned, is when you've done this, just leave it for a few minutes because we need the alcohol to evaporate now.
Right.
And it will lighten up when you do that. But if I bring the one in that I've actually coloured here, you can see how we've got that shading on there that creates the illusion that this is no longer flat on your page.
Gosh,
by
yeah.
adding that depth of shading into it and the lighter areas in the middle as if the light's catching that metal work, it's just creating that illusion that it is a bit rounder. So that's where we were heading with it. And then what I've done is I've done this 3 times. So this was the one I started with. I've used one of the matting squares and I've cut it out. Okay. And then I've gone and stamped a second time and I've fussy cut all the way around the edge, and we're actually going to create our own decoupage with this. And then I stamped again and just fussy cut the flowers out.
Aww.
And you can see how this creates a really nice sort of little image that's going to have a little bit of depth behind it. So the only thing I've got left to do is to just finish off the board at the bottom there. I'm just going to pop the scrap paper against it again so that we can, what happens with alcohol inks is it will bleed through the back. You can just see there's some coloration on the back of here. That is normal, and that's why I put some paper underneath. So I'm just going to quickly finish this one off. I'm not going to put too much attention to this because it's just the wood that watering can sat on. I wanted the can to be my sort of focal point there. So again, it looks a little bit patchy when you first do it, but just leave it. Once the alcohol's dried, you'll find that we get a better effect with it. And again, where we've got that cross hatching on the stamp, we can go over with the other shades.
Just
I'm
while
not
you're
being that careful, really.
Just while you're colouring in that, Jan, Sophie's just asked on Facebook, alcohol ink question, not sure if we covered this. What black pen / fine liners don't smudge with alcohol ink? Say if I wanted to draw something or colour with my tri-blends?
If you can find our Spectrum Noir art liners on the website, they've been designed specifically. So they are actually, while they're wet, you can move them with water, but once they're dry, they're set permanently. You can use them with watercolour or with alcohol markers. So they're a perfect one. And I tend to stick with the Spectrum Noir range because I know there's been a lot of thought put into that so that you're not getting things bleed into something. If you spent an age colouring something in and then you add something to it and it makes a mess of it, it's heartbreaking because it does take a while to do the colouring. It's not a quick thing. So yeah, if you stay with that brand, I know Leanne spends a lot of time testing products to make sure that they're going to do what they say they're going to do, and they do. I think I don't think I've actually got any with me, but the fine liners, you've seen us use them before. There's a set of, I think it's either 5 or 6 with a brush tip in there as well, all different points, nibs on them. So you've got a really thin one going up to a slightly thicker one, and they're great. Also, they're great if you've not used the stamping platform and you've missed a bit of your stamp. They're great for going in and just sort of filling in the line there as well. So let's pop this one together then. I've been using I can't get over those square. Now these are cut with the guillotine, and I'm going to challenge our Adam now. Are you ready, Adam? I need you up close and personal again. Yep. So here we go. First one.
She's going in.
This has been cut with a guillotine. Now, absolutely perfect. Let me move it so that we've got that corner in vision there. But you get what I call a really flat edge on it. He's coming, look, there we go. If I show you the one that I've cut with the die, can you see how you get that lovely impression from the die around there? And I think that just finishes it off beautifully. I think this is fine. I've been using this system for years. And the reason I've cut this with the guillotine is because it's bigger than the die set. So if Leanne's watching, in fact, she's probably got them in production already, bigger matting and layering dies. But this, I just think, gives a really professional finish. That is fabulous. Look at that. Thank you, Adam. Right, so again, bit of matting and layering. You can see exactly where that one came from. I've literally gone into the back of my mat and layer, and I've cut the one that I needed out of the back. So again, just some paper here. This one I think was from the, it was one of the 8x8 pads. Is it the Everyday Occasions or something like that? And I've matted it on some of our Centura Pearl, and then I've actually got a 8x8 card blank there. So those were cut because they were bigger than that 6x6 design. So that one's going to go on the base. And then again, because I wanted a narrower border, this is the 2 dies. So I've actually got the 4.5 and the 4 inch there, which leaves me that 1/4 inch border. But I wanted to add a little bit of colour in there. So I've just cut one with the guillotine, okay, and I've just cut this one so that we've now got 1/8 of an inch. But you can see that they still layer up beautifully there, okay. So I'm literally going to pop that one on with some wet glue because we're going on to the glitter cardstock again. And this will soak into the cardstock so you get a really good stick on there. Okay, so that one's going to go on top of there like so. And then we'll be okay with the tape pen to go. And this is actually I'm just trying to think now. It's Centura Pearl, and I think it's anthracite. I want to say. I think it's a little bit dark to be silver. I think it's the anthracite colour there. And again, just matted and layered those there. And I've cut this at an angle so that we can actually put this on this way now. Okay, so I put a little bit of grey ribbon underneath to match the cardstock. And then we're going to go with this one at that angle in the centre, which is why, whoops, do you know, every time I come here, do I run out of my tape pen? I don't know what it is about coming up here. Let's have a look. I've got a supply downstairs. We're all right.
Downstairs.
Yep, here we go, look. Right, so that one's going to go just literally in the centre there, about equal distance, all the way round.
This little watering can has a real Beatrix Potter feel about it, I feel.
It's lovely, isn't it? And then these ones, I've just put some little foam pads on the back to make, as I say, create my own kind of decoupage. And what we mean by that, Ionica, is literally just layering it up so that you've got some depth to it. So it is a craft term, decoupage, but it's you can buy it already done, where you just pop the pieces out and layer them up on foam pads or on textured glue. Mm-hmm. But this one, I've just used the stamp to actually create my own. So the background layer, I've just coloured the very back pieces in here. And then this one, I've concentrated on the watering can and just a little bit round the edges so that it doesn't show. And then the top layer, I've coloured the flowers in so that we've got that illusion that there is some depth in that picture. So this one's just going to lay right over the top there, like so. And then I've just gone for, this is from the same stamp set. So we've actually got Happy Birthday, which was all one stamp, but I've snipped it because I wanted the 2 pieces separate. So we've got Happy is going to go up at the top just there, like so. And then I wanted Birthday down at the bottom. So just to offset it like that. And that's literally, just added a couple of gems again. But you can see there how we've used those alcohol markers there to create that sort of design. And then you've just got that little bit of depth in it there with the foam pads behind it. So there we go.
Okay,
oh my
Jan,
goodness.
we are running quickly out of time.
Out of the way then.
So,
right.
Jan, we know the score. We're going to have a vote, aren't we, on all of the cards that we've made. So if you get all the cards that you've done, and we're going to have a vote, and I want you to come through on Facebook, give us the number that you want. So but while you're getting those out, I'll just read two more comments down here.
Yep.
Love my tri-blend markers. This is from Robbie. I'm not an artist, but but they are so good. It just makes it look like. Oh, it keeps jumping, sorry. But it makes it look like that way. Love your shading, Jan. Just one question. I have one question from Mary. Some of my tri-blend pens are difficult to get the covers off. When I pull the covers off, it literally pulls the whole ink section out and the cover still stays on. Is there something I'm doing wrong? How can I prevent it?
Not at all. I've had that happen to me as well, so you're not on your own there. But what I find is if you sort of work it sideways, as if you're trying to twist it, and hold the barrel, and just twist it, you'll find that you should be able to ease them off without the barrel piece coming out of there, yeah?
Ah, okay.
Right.
Okay, let's have a line-up, Jan.
Right,
What's
so number one then was the rectangle matting and layering dies with that split stamping.
Yes.
Number 2 was the square matting and layering dies with the little snowmen. Number 3 were the stencils that we used to make the embossed background. And number 4 was the tri-blends to make the watering can. 1, 2, 3 or 4.
You need to get voting really, really quick because we are nearly out of time. So we're going to have a look at the matte and layering die cards. They're $12.99, $14.95, and if you're a platinum member, get my teeth in, $10.39 or $11.96. And we've got the 6x6 one there, and you've been seeing through the show how different that they look, even just the same concept but in different shapes. And there we have got the mystery collection as well. You may have seen me showing you the mystery bag and just giving you a little cheeky peek of that. You are saving such a massive amount on that. You are saving 66%, only £25. But if you do get the duplicate, if you do get 2, you may get a duplicate in there. Okay. And we've got the tri-blend collection there for you. As you can see, the floral collection there, and you've got the free stamp. We all love a stamp that's free, and that's $19.99, $29.95, and the $15.99 on the platinum members. Right, Jan is back joining me on the sofas here. Hey, Jan.
Little change of scenery there, yeah, just across the studio. We've got it all sussed. Fantastic. So we're actually just about coming to the end, I think, now, Ionica. It's been an hour and a half flies by, doesn't it? So yeah, we're going to have to say goodbye for now, but don't forget, we are back on air at 3 o'clock this afternoon here in the UK, and we're back at 7 p.m. later on tonight. So I think you've all voted. Have we got a winner there?
Yes, let's have a quick look.
See what they chose.
Drum roll, Jan. Drum roll. It is numero 4.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, everyone. So that was the tri-blend one with the watering can. So that'll go into our vote later on in the day.
It will.
Yeah? So thank you for joining us. Hope you can pop back later on and join us again. Send some love for our Ionica. She was very nervous this morning. How do you feel now?
Good. I loved it.
It's great, isn't it? So yeah, we will see you all very, very soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.